Matthew Stafford has more yards than he does.
Yeah,
Matthew Stafford has more
negligible.
touchdowns than he does.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford has the same amount of interceptions that he does. But Matthew Stafford is your MVP.
No, he's not. Also,
there's not much of a debate. I think Drake May is second. He's just not first. He's not the MVP of this league. Matthew Stafford is.
Right now, as you watch this, a legendary quarterback is standing in the cold, left out in the cold, his career wasted by the very league that should be celebrating his greatest moment. Matthew Stafford, at 37 years old, just delivered one of the most dominant quarterback seasons in NFL history, and the voters are preparing to hand his trophy to someone else. That is not a debate. That is a robbery. And if you have not given this video your hype yet, right now is the moment. This story matters, and I need you to give it the hype on YouTube so more people understand what is happening to one of football's most underrated champions. Press that button. Let us dive in. For 34 years, the league had a rule, not written anywhere, but it governed MVP voting with the force of law. If you were chosen as the best quarterback, the first team All-Pro, you won the MVP award 97% of the time. That was the rule. The voters looked at the tape and statistics, saying this is the best player. Then MVP voting said this is the most valuable. They were the same person. That made sense. But in 2025, something broke. The voters said Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback, giving him first-team All-Pro honors by a 2-to-1 margin over his closest competition. Then those same voters are preparing to give the MVP trophy to someone else. If that happens, they are not having a debate about who deserves it. They are committing a robbery. They are stealing recognition from a man who earned it through absolute dominance. This is not a close call. This is a clear violation of the precedent that has defined the award for more than 3 decades. Number 2, Drake May, the New England Patriots quarterback, has a story that every voter loves to hear. The Patriots were terrible last year, absolutely terrible, with a 4-13 record. This year, the team improved 10 games, going 14-3, tying for the best record in the entire NFL. This is the story people want. A franchise in collapse gets saved by a young, talented quarterback who lifts everyone around him. Drake May threw 31 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions. He had a 72% completion rate, the 6th highest single-season mark in NFL history. His passer rating was 113.5. On the surface, it looks like a quarterback playing absolutely brilliant football. The narrative writes itself. The Patriots are supposed to be bad. They are good. Drake May made that happen. Voters love this story so much that they are apparently willing to overturn 3 decades of precedent to tell it. Analysts and broadcasters have spent the entire offseason saying the same thing. He is the story of the season. He is the savior. He is the future. Everything about his candidacy lives and dies on one word: narrative. The turnaround is real. The completion percentage is real. But here is what the narrative does not tell you. Number 1, Matthew Stafford finished the 2025 regular season as the leader of the NFL in 3 of the most critical quarterback statistics. He led the league in passing yards with 4,707, beating the second-place finisher by 313 yards. He led the league in passing touchdowns with 46, beating Drake May by 15. He had a touchdown rate of 7.7%, which is historically elite. For context, the average quarterback in the NFL throws touchdowns at a rate of around 4.5%. Stafford was doing it at 7.7. That ratio is considered unsustainable brilliance. To maintain that for a full 17-game season means he was not just lucky. He was operating at a level almost no quarterback in history has achieved. His PFF passing grade was 93.3, the highest mark of his 17-year career and the best in the entire league that season. Think about what that means. Pro Football Focus grades quarterbacks on a snap-by-snap basis, removing the luck factor. A quarterback does not get credit for a 5-yard slant that a teammate turns into an 80-yard touchdown. He does not get penalized for a perfect pass that a receiver drops. The grade is pure quarterback performance. Matthew Stafford earned the highest grade, not because of his weapons, because of his arm, his decisions, his placement, his timing. The most devastating statistic in this entire debate is something called big-time throws. PFF defines this as a pass thrown with excellent location and timing, generally into a tight window or down the field where difficulty is highest. Matthew Stafford led the entire NFL with 47 big-time throws. The second-place finisher had 31. Matthew Stafford had 16 more than anyone else. That is a 50% gap. He was not managing a game and letting his receivers do the work. He was the entire offense. He was making throws that other quarterbacks would not attempt. He was making throws that other quarterbacks could not make. This is not volume for volume's sake. This is volume with surgical precision under the most most difficult conditions. When you isolate difficulty through the big-time throw metric, Stafford stands alone. No other quarterback in football is close to that number. That gap tells the real story of who was the best quarterback in the league. The argument for Drake May rests heavily on efficiency, and the idea that he accomplished more with less. He did complete more passes at a higher percentage. His interceptions were low. His passer rating was slightly higher. But here's the logical problem with this argument that nobody is talking about. If you are going to reward completion percentage and interception avoidance over touchdowns and passing volume, then you have to apply that logic consistently year after year after year. Last year in 2024, Josh Allen won the MVP despite Lamar Jackson winning first-team All-Pro. Allen had the volume and touchdowns. Jackson had the efficiency and interception avoidance. The voters chose volume and touchdowns that year. So why would they suddenly flip the script and choose efficiency this year? The answer reveals the robbery. The goalposts are moving. When that profile is a veteran throwing 46 touchdowns, suddenly efficiency matters more. That is not fair voting. That is inconsistent voting designed to achieve a predetermined outcome. But the most shocking evidence of the robbery comes from a single statistic that the voters themselves provided. In the All-Pro voting, Matthew Stafford received 31 votes for first team. Drake May received 18 votes for second team. These voters, the same people who will cast the MVP ballots, looked at the two quarterbacks and said, by a 2-to-1 margin, Matthew Stafford is the better football player. If they now vote for Drake May for MVP, they are not saying May is better. They are saying May has a better story. They are saying wins matter more than what you did to earn those wins. They are saying narrative trumps performance. And they are breaking the rule that governed this award for 34 years. Now, critics of Matthew Stafford will tell you he succeeded because of his weapons. The Rams have Puka Nacua, a first-team All-Pro receiver. They have Devontae Adams, one of the most elite wide receivers in football. Critics will say his touchdowns are inflated by these elite targets, but this argument falls apart when you understand big-time throws and what they measure. A big-time throw is a difficult, tight window throw, requiring elite arm talent and decision-making. Matthew Stafford led the league in these throws by a massive margin. The weapons helped, yes, but Matthew Stafford was the engine. He was elevating the offense with his arm and his football intelligence. Meanwhile, the argument that Drake May succeeded despite a weak roster ignores half the picture. The Patriots did have an offensive line that struggled, giving up 52 sacks. But the Patriots' defense, rebuilt by head coach Mike Vrabel, was absolutely elite. They held opponents under 20 points per game in 15 different contests. In the wild-card playoff game against the Chargers, the Patriots' defense held Justin Herbert to just 3 points. When your defense is that strong, your quarterback can play efficiently without risk. He can let his defense control the game. Matthew Stafford did not have that luxury. His defense was involved in shootouts. He had to be aggressive. He had to create. That is a massive difference that voters are ignoring. The most objective evidence supporting the idea that Matthew Stafford is being robbed involves the schedules that each quarterback faced during the season. The Los Angeles Rams played the 9th hardest schedule in the NFL. They play in the NFC West alongside the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks, two playoff contenders that they face twice per season. Every week in that division is a battle against teams fighting for playoff position. Matthew Stafford went 13-5 against the toughest competition in football. The New England Patriots played the 30th hardest schedule, which means the 3rd easiest. Because they finished last in the AFC East in 2024, they received a last-place schedule. They spent their season facing rebuilding teams from the AFC South and NFC North. Those are not comparable situations. Drake May won 14 games because he was good, and because the Patriots caught the best luck of the schedule draw. Matthew Stafford won 13 games, despite facing a true gauntlet of elite opponents every single week. If you adjust for schedule difficulty, Stafford's wins are worth significantly more than May's wins on a per-game basis. The Patriots themselves know this is true. Drake May was asked directly about the easy schedule narrative, and he got defensive. He said, "It is not like we are playing Foxborough High School down the road." That quote was meant to defend his team, but it actually confirmed the criticism. He admitted that the schedule talk was real enough to bother him. He admitted that the quality of competition was a legitimate conversation. Imagine if Matthew Stafford could say the same thing. Imagine if he could point to 17 games of victories against elite teams teams and say, I faced the brutal schedule and won anyway. That is what happened. That is what. But the most interesting piece of this entire puzzle is the media battle happening behind the scenes. Tom Brady, the greatest Patriot of all time, shocked the New England fan base by endorsing Matthew Stafford for MVP. Brady said 46 touchdowns. For any quarterback, that is a dream season. He has been spectacular. I am going to say Matthew Stafford. Tom Brady, a living legend, stripped away team loyalty and looked at the football. He said the performance speaks louder than the narrative. He said Matthew Stafford should win. But Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports and the ultimate Patriot fan, attacked Brady for that endorsement. Portnoy said, that bothers me. I feel like Brady should always be rooting for the Patriots guy. Portnoy wants the award to be a team thing, a tribal thing, a narrative thing. Brady wants it to be a performance thing. And the momentum appears to be with the Portnoy side. The storytellers are winning. The analysts are losing. Voters want to be on the side of the great story. They want to be the ones who saw it coming, who recognized the turnaround, who voted for the narrative of the season instead of the performance of the season. This is the core of the robbery. For 3 decades, the rule was clear. Best quarterback by vote, best quarterback by MVP. First team All-Pro in one column, MVP in the other. They matched. In 2024, Josh Allen won MVP, while Lamar Jackson won First Team All-Pro. That broke the rule. That created a slippery slope. If All-Pro and MVP can be different people, what does MVP even mean? Does it mean best player? Does it mean best story? Does it mean most important to your team's success? The answer has become ambiguous. Voters are now free to pick whatever definition suits the candidate they prefer. In Drake May's case, they can say MVP is about turnaround and narrative and wins. In Matthew Stafford's case, they could have said MVP is about statistical dominance and difficulty and performance. But they will not say that. They will say May because the story is better. Here is what the evidence shows. Matthew Stafford led the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns, big-time throws, and wins above replacement. He finished first team All-Pro by a 2-to-1 margin. He played against the 9th hardest schedule in football. His PFF grade was the best in the league. His touchdown rate was historically elite. He did this at age 37, making a truly remarkable late career peak that belongs in the same conversation with Tom Brady's 40-year-old MVP season. All of that adds up to one conclusion. The voters have decided the MVP award is no longer about who played the best football. It is about who has the best story. That is a robbery of Matthew Stafford, and it is a betrayal of decades of voting precedent. But here is what matters most. The trophy might go to Drake May. The voters might have already decided. The narrative might win. But the fans saw what happened on the field in 2025. The fans know that Matthew Stafford delivered one of the greatest quarterback seasons in NFL history. The fans will remember the 46 touchdowns for the rest of their lives. The fans will remember the fourth quarter drives against playoff teams. The fans will remember a 37-year-old proving that he belonged in the same conversation as the greatest players to ever play the position. No award ceremony can take that away. No voter can erase those performances. No plaque or trophy can capture what he did. Matthew Stafford will have his legacy no matter what the trophy says. He will have the respect of everyone who actually watched the tape. He will have Tom Brady's endorsement. He will have the historical record showing he deserved it. That is worth more than a statue. That is worth more than a plaque. That is a legacy that stands forever. And for fans who know football, for fans who respect excellence, that is what matters. The robbery might happen. The precedent might be shattered. The narrative machine might win. But Matthew Stafford delivered the best quarterback season of the entire year by every meaningful metric. He proved that at 37 years old, he could still do things that made other quarterbacks look ordinary. He proved that statistics are not inflated or padded. They are earned through excellence. He proved that playing in a tough division against tough competition is harder than playing in an easy division against bad teams. He proved all of that. And if the voters ignore it, that is their failure, not his. That is a failure of the voters to hold their own consistent standard. That is a failure to judge the award by the same criteria they have used for 34 years. That is the definition of a robbery, and everyone who truly loves football should clearly see it for what it is. Like this video if you see the robbery. Subscribe if you think stats should speak louder than the story. And comment below on whether you think Stafford got robbed or May deserves it. Let us start a real conversation about what MVP truly means in the modern NFL. Thanks for watching.